Hello and welcome to Manga Boys Manga reading vlog. We've got 12 volumes per usual. Well, 12 and a half because of Dragon Quest. But let's get into it with Drifting Dragons. We find out that Vanny is a princess. We find out that his hand's broken. But we also find out that the dragons have a little bit of a lore to them now. We've got the dragon that they were chasing with the thunder apparently is part of like the four titans or tyrants that have been kind of ruling the skies. So they're going to try to hunt them down. We're also trying to get our ship back and running. So that's tricky, but we also have Vanny, who's a princess in Arena, which is not a place to fight, but it is a place where there is fighting. And she leaves to go back to them to save her friend, so we are on that trail, but it looks like everybody's knocked out from sleeping gas from a dragon, so that's interesting as well. But we have a skeleton crew, and I'm pretty invested in it. Can you tell by how fast I'm talking about that? So this picked up quite a lot after, I want to say, volume like 6 or 7. So you have to get kind of far into it for it to get good, but it has actually gotten quite a bit good. I didn't expect it to get this good, honestly. Dragon Quest V, we're still at the Disciples of Avon, but part 5. I don't know if it ever ends. But we defeat Frizzfraz, Frizzblast, Blizzfreeze. I don't know how to say his name, I forget. Finally, and we save the princess. However, he gets like this cool little transformation from these guys here. No, from Mistavarn right there. And Dai unlocks the final Avon Strash. That was epic AF. But Hyuckle has to like blind him for it in order for him to understand how to do the air slash, so that was pretty epic. Found out Sovereign Rock can move, and it's scaring the shit out of people in the ocean. So that was spooky AF too. And we also have Mam leaving, so that way she can become, you know, real martial artist. So she's going to become like the brawler, I guess. So that'll be interesting to see. Crocodile and Hyuckle is still kind of roaming around, but we are down to only 2 of the original 5 members of, not Vern, Hadon's crew. So it'll be interesting to see what happens once he's dead. I think that's when the Demon King Vern will show up, but I'm not sure. Vinland Saga, I kind of talked about this the other time, but we get a huge amount of kind of lore dump about the slave system, about one of the main slaves who's been sleeping with the master's, pregnant with the master's child. The farmhands are like slaughtered by this one slave from a different farm. And we also find out that Canute is up to no good. So yeah, I've been really enjoying this series quite a bit. This is the one that I meant to say. Seems like we're starting to leave the Homestead arc, so that is interesting, or the Slave arc or Farm arc, whatever it's called. So this is a 2-in-1, so it's 12, volume 12 that I'm up to now, which is what chapter? I don't even know. So it looks like this covers all the way up to chapter 86, No Going Home. We have talk of going to Vinland. Excited to see what that is, because that is the current arc that Vinland Saga is on in Japan releases, or the updated releases. And I guess it's the last arc, so that's really exciting. Yakuza Reincarnation Volume 3. This is another pretty good series. It's not quite as good as I was hoping it was going to be, but it's still very interesting to see this class system. And the main thing is it's really dark and kind of messed up. So we find out this guy's ruling the water, and so nobody has water because he's actually corrupted by demons, and these demons and him are trying to push through this drug that turns humans into mutants / demons to be taken over. And so it's sad. But don't worry, our main Yakuza main boss is on the way, but he's actually a princess. Nobody believes him though because he doesn't talk like a princess. So they take him to court, and they make his friend kind of talk and say that the princess is evil and she's been poisoning the water. But the princess is like, interesting story. What if I punch you in the face? And then, like, you know, he thinks he's gonna die, so his demon comes out because he's a demon. And we get a little bit of a showing here of this Cthulhu-esque boss checking out our Yakuza princess boss, man. So I am excited to see what that's about, because that is whoa, you know? But yeah, so this has been, you know, kind of ramping up. I still don't really understand the horror system because it was kind of introduced in volume 1 or 2 and then left off. So I really want to see more about that. Exodrive Reincarnation Game Volume 2. I gotta say, I'm kind of completely baffled. So there are these guys who just completely destroy worlds, and you know, you're supposed to get points by saving worlds, and the way you do it, you know, by not harming people and things like that, and making the best world possible. However, these guys have like dark chips, and instead of cheat chips, they let them, you know, destroy the world, and then they use the dark chip, and bam, they get all the lost points that they had reverted into positive points, and they win. And it's like, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose? And everybody's watching them do it, and then they're like, yep, they win, and then everyone's like, yeah, it's not cheating because otherwise it wouldn't load. And I'm like, they literally just killed like hundreds of women and children, but it's fine? So I'm kind of confused. I don't get it. This is, again, a really interesting concept where they have made Isekai a sporting event. So each round starts with the 2 players being hit by a truck that they have assigned to a teammate to hit them over, and when they are reincarnated into a world, they have this set amount of chips and abilities for cheat skills they can use. The main villain group seems to be using these things called dark chips. Kind of reminds me of Mega Battle Network, but it's really bizarre how you can just say, nah, those negative points are positive points, and that's allowed. It's like, what? But okay. Frieren Volume 6. This has gotten increasingly interesting. We go through the second part, we have to go through these clones. That was interesting to see all these mages get their asses kicked by different mages, you know, in the same test, as well as the fact that Frieren has her own clone and they are able to defeat it. That was really neat. We also find out more about Frieren's Master's Master, which is really cool. However, we get to part 3 of the Magician's Test, and everybody fails except for Fern. And the reason why Fern doesn't fail is because Fern is able to see her mana. And even Frieren's like, listen, you're stupid AF, you always look down on humans, but let me tell you, you're gonna try to fail Fern, but don't do it because you're lying to yourself if you do it. So she's like, Fern's not special, look at her, she's scared of me because she sees my mana. No different. And then Fern's like, nah, I ain't scared. It's unstable. And she's like, you gotta become my apprentice. And so Fern's like, hell no, I'm not gonna become your apprentice. So I'm assuming she passes part 3. But everyone else fails it. It's seemingly because they're afraid of her mana, or they come in there thinking they're gonna fail. Like Frieren came in, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna fail because you hate me. And she's like, yep, you failed, bye. So that was pretty funny. She's like, you can defeat the Demon Lord, but you can't pass this stupid mage test. I guess next time believe in yourself. That's the lesson here. So that was interesting. The Iratan, Deities Know Only Peace, obviously, Ichi cover, you know, when you've got Cool, Hyosindia, it's gotta be Ichi cover. There's not actually like anything Ichi in this whole volume until the end, which is kind of interesting, but we have Protanea, Pronte, I don't know, show up finally. And Prontea is like the second strongest to Rin. We also see that, you know, Easley is up to these like crazy experiments from the first volume. Took over from the evil empire, but then the demons kind of come in. The demons are really trying to rush taking out the Ida 10 before they get too strong. However, you know, they are so far behind compared to the Ida 10 deities that they get wrecked pretty easily. Easley almost loses, but he figures out right before she invades that they have used human brains to get the intelligence and the ability to communicate, therefore making them susceptible to the downsides of human brains, which is like poison and like chemical imbalances and things like that. So he takes advantage of that and is able to win despite being way weaker than her. Meanwhile, we find out our main character is very, what's the word for it? High potential to be the strongest Ida 10 ever. So that is pretty cool. I can't wait to see what happens with that. Prontea seems really strong, but I don't think they're going to do too much because they are defense focused, and they just have that kind of like Gauther-esque personality where they're like, I don't know, isolated. So it seems like they're going to be kind of doing their own thing for most of the journey, but we'll see if they actually end up joining us and surprise me. Kimono Jihen. This series kind of finally gets further into it. We get to learn more about the world. And so we do a few cases that seemingly are unrelated to each other. I don't know if they actually are or not, but we find out this girl who's like a fox is able to get people under her spell by using her perfume. We find that this girl, Khan, is a good girl. She's a fox as well. She's just trying to be on Inari's good side and return the head of our main character, Kabane, but obviously he tricks her because he is a, raccoon dog. We also have this cat story about this man who falls in love with this cat yokai, or Ayakashi, and they end up moving in together, and she actually turns men into these man cats, which are creepy AF, but he's in love with her, so she becomes in love with him, and they move in together, and I think that's kind of gross. Meanwhile, we get to see this, here we go, Tanuki, who is most definitely this guy right here. I can't remember his name for some reason. I'm almost positive on it because he's got the same hairstyle, but he seems really cool, very smart. And we meet a Yuki and a vampire as well. The vampire is like OP, and he's so OP that he's given up on the world, so the only thing that interests him anymore is MMORPGs. So you can see he is the information gatherer and the hacker of this detective agency. But our main character, Kabane, breaks his wrist, and so he has to give up on MMOs, otherwise he'll let down his friends and his allies, and we can't have that until his wrist heals, but he still plays solo single-player RPGs, so that's okay. Rooster Fighter Volume 2, the long-awaited second volume. We get a rival here with a past lover from our main Rooster, and she just is so sad because they had sex and she thought it was love, but it wasn't. It was just another woman to him. It's just not right. It's just not right. So sad. We also find out that there's more going on with these kaiju than we had originally thought. There were these different colored kaiju initially, and then now they are evolving into other types of beasts with more personality and different colors. It seems like our main bad boy right now, our main bad character, evil defeat target, is this guy right here. They're calling him the White Kaiju or something like that? The Horn Kaiju? And White Demon, that's it. And so it seems like it's the main person who defeated his sister. We see he's got this really sick Demon Phoenix fire attack, who he thinks is his sister, but we're not sure. And he's even got the same kind of tattoo on him, so we're like, what the fuck is going on here? But very interesting stuff. I cannot wait to see where this goes because the story doesn't take itself too seriously, but then all of a sudden like sneaks in little elements of oh shit, and I'm like, I'm invested. So it's got good comedy, good action, and lingering plot details that they sprinkle in. It makes it nice. Mao, Volume 8, Rumiko Takahashi. We get to see more of Nanaoka actually fight, so that was really cool because she doesn't usually fight. It makes me wonder what is really going on with this demon that Mao is trying to kill. We also have a kind of like a one-shot-esque, back to like the Demon of the Week, the trend thing, but it's not really because it's all related to Hakubei and Hakubei building up his evil army, but they're not, I don't know. It makes me wonder, this is Hakubei by the way, it makes me wonder if the apprentices are really evil or what's happening with that. Because we don't know what's going on with Mao's friends really and his ex-lover. It seems like she was dead and then her body's being possessed by this curse, I guess. But we still don't really know what's truly happened with it, so is Sano's really dead? It seems like we're positive on that, but you know how that was with Inuyasha. I don't think it was it Kagome? No, Kagome's the main girl, but who was the girl that he fell in love with? I don't know. It's similar, very similar to that. If you like Inuyasha, you really like Mao, I can guarantee that. Very similar, a lot of parallels between it. That and Renee, anyways. But that is what I read this week. For real this time, because last time that's why I'm in the same outfit, because I recorded it right after the other one. So this is what I read this week. This was a really good read. I think the last week though I liked a little bit more, but you know, anything with Dai and Vinland Saga and Drifting Dragon starting to get really good at, so is Free Run. You know, this was still a pretty decent, really good week. I'm trying to catch up to all the manga that I have fallen kind of behind on. I try to like keep up to date with the, you know, ongoing series and then sprinkle in the ones I'm trying to catch up on, like Haiku, but I got really like knocked out of sorts by that big Right Stuff dump way back when in like July or June. So I'm trying to catch up to it now. I'm like, okay, no more now that Haiku is done. No more like catch up series. Just got to catch up to all the ongoing. So that's what I'm up to right now. So I will catch you on the next one. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and use my Ritz affiliate link down below if you found anything that you liked today. See you next time. Bye-bye.